Greetings, everyone. I'm Tom Gilligan, CEO and founder of Marathon Tours and Travel, and also the creator of the Antarctica Marathon and Half Marathon. And during our virtual Antarctica Marathon week, we are going to have some podcasts with past participants who have had interesting and unique experience while they joined us. Today, I would like to welcome Heidi Richardson, who joined us in 2012. So welcome, Heidi.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Heidi, what inspired you to join us to go run in Antarctica?
Well, Tom, I've run so many races around the world with marathon tours, and I've met some of the most incredible people that generally we form groups after the races, and we try to plan our next race so that we can all meet up from, various continents. And we decided to try to hit all 7 continents. And so by doing all 7 continents, ultimately you have to go to Antarctica. And so that really was sort of what led it initially. Was just hitting all 7 continents. And I have to say, when we got there, it was just an absolutely life-changing experience.
Great. And how did it change your life?
Well, I think, if you've never been to Antarctica, which most of us haven't, you just see it in movies, and it looks like this barren, desolate, freezing, cold place. So why would you ever want to go there? And I have to say, it's probably the most beautiful place I've ever been in my entire life. The sea animals, the land animals, being able to kayak next to a humpback whale as you're watching a glacier calf and turn into an iceberg is something absolutely incredible. We felt like we were on the Truman Show, that it wasn't real, that somehow the cameras were going to, come into play and this was all going to go away. It was just, it was incredible. It was nothing like you could ever imagine Antarctica to be. It was blue skies, white snow, and just sea life all around. It was just incredible.
During the experience of our trip for the marathon, we have an educational component through films and lectures while on board the ship. What were some of your takeaways?
It just, how much life is there. Not only the life that we can see, but the life, under the ocean and under the ice. It was really incredible, and just how precious that life is. And also just, how relevant climate change. I mentioned being in a kayak and watching a glacier calf, but, that's a glacier melting. And that's witnessing climate change firsthand. And it was incredible to be there and to see that and to learn from all of the experts giving the lectures, just how relevant it is, and that we need to be part of, stopping it or helping to address the issues and bring the attention to it. And I just thought that it was so interesting. And of course, learning about all of the different creatures that, that are living on the land or living beneath the sea. It was really just an incredible experience.
Yes, in fact, you took your experience during that period and you didn't leave it there.
No.
You walked the walk, and you were introduced to an organization called Oceanids, which is the only non-governmental scientific nonprofit organization that does research in Antarctica. And they're most prominently known for their research on the wildlife, particularly the penguins, and also on climate change and the influence of tourism on Antarctica. So tell the viewers what happened after you returned home and you connected with Oceanids.
Sure. Well, professionally, I manage money for not-for-profits, and I specialize in impact investing, which is really focusing on the environment and social issues. And I am involved with many boards and organizations that do that personally as well as professionally. And, I was so captured by the scientific research that Oceanids puts together, and they've been doing this for over 20 years, really looking at the adaptability of climate change. So if we can't stop it immediately, whether, people can argue whether it's man-made or, whether it's just a natural course of the earth. I don't want to get into any of those discussions, but the point is the temperatures are rising, the earth is warming, and it impacts humans as well as penguins. And so when we think about the adaptability is really around food sources, right? So if the krill are moving somewhere else because the water is warming, or if breeding habits have to change because the ice is melting and penguin eggs have to be in ice to be able to survive, or looking just at the homes and where they can live. If there's no ice, they have to move somewhere else. And if we take that adaptability and think about the changes in what we're seeing with penguins, we can relate it to humans, whether it's, people living on the coast and sea levels rising and they have to move, whether it's droughts impacting our food sources. And so through the eyes of these sort of avatars of the penguins, it really helps us take a bigger issue of adaptability of how do we as humans work with the adaptability of climate change. And so, I started as a board member many years ago, pretty much right after the race. And now I'm the chair of the board. And so I'm out there leading the charge, particularly for fundraising. We need fundraising to be able to support these research trips that we do. But we're also, working with many organizations to bring more awareness to climate issues and to adaptability as humans.
Yes, and Heidi, thank you for your past commitments and continued commitments to Oceanids. That organization has been the official charity for the Antarctica Marathon, and we first formed a relationship in 2009 when I contacted Ron Naveen, who's the director, and he's the scientist who's leading this charge to collect hard data that he can present worldwide to anyone who will listen. And during the lectures on board the ship, it is very interesting and a bit worrisome that when you hear how things are changing, and I've learned significantly from my experiences going to Antarctica and my contact with Oceanids, the marathon has raised since 2009 somewhere between $400,000 and $500,000. Each year we have live auctions, and also we pre-sell the mile markers, which has been a fantastic fundraiser. And anyone who's been on the trip has the chance for a small fee of $200 to actually buy one of the mile markers, and you can have your name put on it. So when you're out there running along and you get to mile 17 and there's your name on the mile marker, it's a fabulous piece of memorabilia. Heidi, how do you suggest that some runners can help the cause of Oceanids?
Well, they can hop on the link to oceanids.org and they'll see the donate button. And it really comes down to donations. And, any amount is not too small. We can take everything that someone's willing to give. And I have to say, Tom, you and Marathon Tours have been such a significant partnership. And we really couldn't do it without the support of you and your team. We honestly couldn't. It's just been a tremendous partnership. But this has been a tough year. It's been a tough year for everybody with COVID, and, raising money is very challenging. We love to get in front of people. We love to have Ron Naveen, speak to people, and he goes and talks to classrooms. We have ebooks on Ron Counts Penguins. We have videos. There's a great video on Prime TV, on Prime, Amazon Prime, that's looking at the penguin counters, and that's all featuring Ron and the research. So, you know, this is a very legitimate organization that's deeply passionate about climate change and the warming planet. And I think if people want to donate, that would probably be, the best way to do that is just hop on our website and do that. But honestly, Tom, we couldn't do it without the support of Marathon Tours. And I have to say, those auctions are fantastic. When I was on the ship, I don't know how you did it, but I got a tremendous book from Frank Wild, and, I was able to get postcards from the actual Endeavor trip with Shackleton, or those photos from that signed by Alexandra Shackleton, his granddaughter. I mean, it's just incredible what you brought to the table for those auctions. And we can't thank you enough for your partnership. Well, it gives us a lot of satisfaction that we can go to a pristine environment that exists on King George Island, the venue for the marathon, and give back something. Have the marathon and the runners give back to science after having the privilege. And I emphasize that word. It is a real privilege to be able to go to Antarctica and run a marathon. And of course, in 1995, when we had the Antarctica Marathon for the first time, it was the first sporting event ever held in Antarctica, whereby competitors traveled to that destination. And the scientific community was quite concerned about the impact on the environment. Yet when Ron heard about it, he explained how King George Island, which is settled by 4 research bases, that the runners leave no impact on the environment. We leave footprints on the roads that interconnect the bases. And each year, our pledge is to have the marathon have 0 impact on the environment. So the partnership between Marathon Tours and Oceanids has been a win-win situation for all of us. And Heidi, I thank you for your continued efforts in passing on the mission and message that Oceanids has. And we look forward to working with Oceanids and others to help spread the word. So hopefully we will see you in real time somewhere at a running event in the near future. And until then, let's stay in touch. And once again, thank you for your efforts. My pleasure. Hope to see you soon. Thanks, Tom.